Welcome to the French Schnoofie. I'm Erin MacDonald. Today I'm going to be making a creamy, classic Italian dish, risotto. And risotto can be intimidating, but it's actually a little time consuming, but it's worth every bite. And you can do it right in your home. So what I have here is just my pan with some onions, and actually I have shallots. You can use shallots or onions. Shallots are a little bit milder, so that's what I'm using. And a good heaping tablespoon of butter. And you want the tablespoon of butter because it's going to absorb the rice. So this has just been sweating, and basically what that means is just to release some of the juices of the onion. We don't want any color. That was drilled into my head in culinary school. We just want them to be translucent, and that's what they're at right now at this stage. Next, we're gonna go in for the risotto rice. And there's all kinds of risotto rices out there. I mean, you can find expensive, not expensive. Arborio is a classic risotto rice, and that's the rice that I'm using today. So we're gonna get that into the pan, just like this. And what you want to do is start to move the rice around so that it coats all the butter and that nice shallot flavor. So just move it around. Make sure that every grain is going to be absorbed and coated with that butter. And also right now, I'm not going to add any liquid right away. And the reason for that is we want to just toast the arborio rice just a little bit. So we're toasting it in that hot pan with the butter and the shallots. And off to the side here, what I have is some chicken broth, and that's been boiling. We want the broth to be hot as well because we're going to be ladling that into the arborio rice. If you don't want to use chicken stock, perhaps you're a vegetarian, you can use vegetable stock or beef stock or all kinds of different stocks, basically. So now we're going to go in with the chicken stock. And as I said, it's warm and it's hot, and you want that. And little by little, you hear that? That's what you want. Just a little bit at first. And then move it around the pan. And it's going to absorb the chicken stock and release its starch. And that's going to make sure that it's nice and creamy and delicious. And again, it's starting to burn off. You can see that it's being absorbed. We're going to add a little bit more of that chicken stock all around the pan, little by little. It's a labor-intensive dish, but it's so delicious. It's worth it. You know, you can't really walk away from this and do your laundry or do something else. You really do need to stand over the risotto. So around 20 minutes is what it's going to take. Another thing that is classical in this dish would be white wine. And this is when we want to get the white wine in as well, so that the alcohol can burn off. So we're going to get that in there as well. I'm using around a half a cup of the white wine, and I'll save that bit for me. So we're going to just wait until that's all absorbed as well. And you want to burn off the alcohol, as I said. Now, I like to season as I go. Some people do it at the end, but it's all about personal preference. I think it's better to season a little bit at a time, and that way you don't over season. So we're going to go in with some salt. Just a little bit for now. And a little bit of cracked black pepper. And don't forget to keep moving it around the pan. So just move it around. It smells beautiful. I can smell the shallots, I can smell the butter, and I can smell that white wine. And you can see that it's starting to get a little creamy, and my risotto is starting to turn a little translucent, and we want that as well. Now, a couple of other things that I have is some parsley, and I want that. I always like to have a nice fresh herb in my risotto or anything that I'm cooking. I like to incorporate some type of an herb. So I'm going to just chop off the top of the parsley and get that ready. I won't put that in right yet, but I will get it ready. Some just nice chops of the parsley, and I want to chop it up quite fine. Parsley can be a little papery, I guess would be the word, the texture of it. So I like to make sure that I chop it really fine, especially with this delicate risotto dish. And I can hear my rice. I need to get more liquid into it. When you start to hear those little rice kernels, that's when you need to go in with some more. Beautiful. Just a little bit more. Just keep eyeballing it. As I said, you can't really walk away from this dish. There you go. It used to be served as an appetizer or a starter, but these days you can have it as a main course. And because it's the rice, it can go a long way and serve quite a few people. So finish up with my parsley now. There we go, almost done. And I'm just gonna push it off to the side. I'm not gonna add the parsley right yet. I also have some nice fresh peas, and peas are classic in risotto as well. Sometimes you can have mushrooms, but peas really is a classic for the beautiful risotto. And I'm gonna go in with some butter, and butter is gonna make it creamy. Butter just makes everything better, doesn't it? So go in with a little bit of butter like that. And I'm gonna let the butter absorb, and then we're gonna come back and add some Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna add the parsley and the peas. It's gonna be so delicious. So I'm gonna stir this and let this go for around another 10, 12 minutes. Just eyeball it to be sure. And so now that's been going for around 10 minutes, and it's time to get the good stuff in. So as you can see, the rice has really absorbed all of that chicken broth, and it's quite fluffy. I've added a little bit more butter and a little bit more salt. So that's all I've been doing, and standing here and stirring for the last 10 minutes. At this point, I just want to give it a taste to make sure that the rice is seasoned well enough. It's perfect. And now we have to move kind of quickly because we want it to be al dente, which means it still has a little bit of bite. You don't want it to be soggy rice. It has to have a little bit of bite. So I'm gonna go in with some beautiful Parmigiano Reggiano, classic for this dish. So cheesy and wonderful, and it's one of the ingredients that makes it really decadent. I'm gonna go in with quite a bit of Parmesan cheese. And I'm just gonna leave a little bit at the end for plating and get that all inside. If you start to notice that it's getting dry on the bottom, just add more of the chicken stock. So always just keep a look. You don't want it to go dry. It needs to be really nice and creamy. Now I'm gonna go in with that beautiful and fragrant and herby parsley that I chopped earlier. So get that in as well. And of course, my green peas, beautiful green peas that I washed earlier. So get that in. This is so yummy, and you get a little bit of bite from those peas, and the peas won't take long to soften. So mix that all around. I can see from the consistency, I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more of that stock, that warm chicken stock, just a little bit to loosen it up and to help melt that Parmesan cheese. This is so yummy, and look at how large this pan is. This could serve easily a family of 3. So there you go. I'm gonna turn off my heat at this point and mix it all around. Make sure that you get all of that Parmesan cheese, so creamy and yummy. Just like this. Beautiful, look at the creaminess from this. Something really comforting for me about risotto. I really enjoy it. It's warm and ooey and gooey and delicious. And I think I'm just gonna finish it, like I said, with some beautiful Parmesan cheese. There you go. And there you have a beautiful classic Italian dish, risotto. I hope that you give it a try.